Hi everyone, welcome to the 9th instalment of Totally Speedway's Facebook Live. We're coming up to the start of the season, so thanks everyone for tuning in once again. Just double checking to make sure social media is up and everyone can see it, so awesome. This season we've had a few practice sessions around the country. So we had Murray Bridge got on recently, on Saturday night, and they had last weekend, and they had their practice runs. So thanks everyone for, the season is near upon us. Brisbane's Archfield Speedway kicks off this Saturday night with the 410 sprint cars, so that's going to be really good. We've got numerous other tracks that be starting up soon. The following weekend, Toowoomba's High Tech Oil Speedway in Queensland, they'll be having the round one of the USC Queensland Championship, and then September 30 at the end of this month, we're going to have the first round of the USC Ultimate Sprint Car Championship, New South Wales Championship. That's at Sydney's Valvoline Raceway. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Throw your questions my way. I'll be here for the next hour. I know I say this a lot, and I say it getting a bit repetitive, but I do enjoy this, and I really appreciate the support. So the season's coming up. We've got some news that's recently released. Sean Dobson, so the Tasmanian sprint car driver, he was announced as the driver for the replacing the Ian Loudon with the Victoria number 3 car that's owned by David and Gail Dixon, and that's the Essendon Auto Group racing team. Sean's announced this morning we put out the media release. He's also going to be running his own car too, so he's going to be doing 30 plus shows, but he's going to be doing as many Sydney races, and doing as many races in Sydney with his own car. So that's going to be VA number 21, and we're also then he's going to be running the Dixon car for Victorian shows. So that's cool. But thanks for everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate the support. We've got 28 people live at the moment. Just going through your questions. Facebook's now notifying me who's joining in. So we've got Robert Jordan saying first on. So thanks, Robert. Thanks for tuning in. You're a regular listener or viewer, so really much appreciated. We've got Ben Griffin. We've got Matt Tyler, Grant Edwards, late model racer. Nathan Polidich, who's from Mod Lights, Craig Craft. He's Super Sedans, Chris Tormay, who's a long-time crew chief for this on the sprint cars. Andrew Furphy, Jet Modified Racer, thanks for coming in and checking out. Steve Vaughan, Super Sedans, late models. Lee Van Gideon, Formula 500 Racing. So we've got one question here, Matt Tyler, thanks for your question. As the editor and publisher, how much time do you spend on the magazine to keep it at a high standard? Matt, I'm not sure if you don't know that Totally Speedway is no longer a printed magazine. Our last issue that we went to print was March 2015, so it's been a year and a half, or two and a half years now. So in terms of that, now we're all online. So a lot of time goes in that with online, doing the social media, updating stories, uploading stories, designing ads, and all those sort of things, and also all the other things that we do with Red Line Media, which is the main company that we run under this umbrella. So a lot of time goes in it, but just to give you a backtrack as the publisher and editor when it was a magazine. So I started that in October 2009, and that was a monthly magazine, full gloss, 52 pages. A lot of work goes into that, and that's why I give full credit to Oval Express. They're celebrating their 17th year this month, and they've been going strong, coming out every month. In that fact, but putting together a magazine on a monthly basis for high pressure, really rewarding, but to see the finished product, but a lot of effort goes into it, organising the printer, making sure you've got enough advertisers, doing the subscriptions. So a lot of work goes into magazines, and eventually it just came to the point where it was no longer viable to actually do it. So it's just a sign of the times, but now online, regularly checking news and updating news, sharing news, and just what's going on. So the news never stops in terms of with the online basis. So so Matt, hopefully that answers your question, and thanks once again for asking question. We've got a question here from Chris Wilkinson. Can't wait to see Williamson race for the CP, the East Coast Pipeline Racing Team. Yeah, it was announced earlier this week that Callum Williamson, Western Australian-based 14 sprint car driver, is the development team driver for the East Coast Pipeline team. So he'll be running, as they announced, so he'll still be running in his normal colours that he's run over in Western Australia under Western Australia 73. And he'll be, still running, but it'll be like a satellite car for the East Coast Pipeline team. So it won't be in their colours, but it'll be under their banner, looked after crew chief by experience, crew chief Tim Moff-Gleeson, so a former sprint car racer and an experienced crew chief himself. So so Callum, it's going to be interesting that the influx of Western Australian drivers that have come over, like in recent years, we've had guys like Rob Watson Jr. He's come over and raced a bit when Ian Madsen was running. We had young AJ Nash, so he came over and ran last season. So, and in the past, I've had Pino Priolo that's come over. I remember doing a lot of racing at Claremont on the Friday night, and then coming and racing at Parramatta Speedway, which was then known as Sydney's Valvoline Raceway, on the Saturday night. So he's certainly, certainly no stranger to Western Australian teams basing over here and really racing. So, but Callum Williamson, he's a young talent. He's proven himself a bit inconsistent, but hopefully running under the guidance of Tim Moff-Gleeson and the East Coast Pipeline team, he'll be able to be consistently run at the front. But it's certainly a daunting task running at Sydney's Valvoline Raceway with 50 plus cars every night. So it's going to be interesting for Callum, but Callum's certainly shown his talent. He's won numerous feature races and podiumed in major events over on the West Coast in the past. So it'll be good to see what he can do under their guidance. So good luck, Callum, and hopefully you have a good season and look forward to seeing you. So I just got a few more questions here. Anthony McLean, Lismore City Council passed a motion to make the curfew 10 p.m. last night. What do you think the ramifications of this will change? Anthony, thanks once again for tuning in and for your questions. I think it's going to make it tough, but I did read that there is a clause there too, but if there's a major crash or an ambulance called or weather that's halted the meeting, then they can extend to 10:30, but that would be only under those extreme circumstances. So I think they're going to have to run a tighter schedule, so maybe less classes on any given night because they're not going to have the time to get them through. But it certainly doesn't make it easier. And for a sport, Lismore's got a great history of speedway, and for them to be coming under the scrutiny of the council more and more when the speedway's been there for many years, it's got a long history. But once again, it's the case of people moving in near a speedo than making all the complaints in the world. So it's not like it's going at 2 a.m. in the morning or anything like that, and it's going to 10 o'clock sort of thing. So it's a Saturday night. So I think some people just don't have anything better to do other than to complain, and that ruins a great sport, a lot of history, and puts pressure on a track that's already under pressure, or a sport that's under the pressure, because this is not a problem that's just for Lismore and northern New South Wales. This is the problem that's Australia-wide. It's been for many years. You look at the Sydney Showground and what happened there here in Sydney. So that was shut down after many years because people moved in and complained, but that's a sign of the times. So, hopefully Lismore and the promoter, David Landis, an experienced promoter, it's something that he's had to deal with in the past. So nothing new to him, but hopefully, it doesn't affect the racing at Lismore, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have to run a pretty tight schedule and limit probably the classes that they do run so they don't have it. So we've got current Australian champion in the AMCA Nationals, Tim Reedy, has joined, so thanks for tuning in. We've got former Victorian AMCA National champion, Darren Plugger McCarthy. We've got former Australian VO2 modified champion, Di Stevenson. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Barry Warner, g'day, mate. First timer here, not the last, hey. So thanks, Barry, for tuning in. Really appreciate tuning in and listening to what I have to say. So, so hopefully you enjoyed and tuned in for the duration. So, once again, thanks, Barry. So, I've got Kim Jury, who's on the weekend debuted his new super sedan. So, he purchased the Ryan Alexander car that was run last season by the MA Motorsport team. And, he's looking forward to a big season. So, this will be his first full-time season in the car. and certainly first class equipment. So good luck, Kim, for the season ahead. All right, so Mick Lyslav. Sorry, Mick. Hopefully I say your name, Lyslav. I think that's how you say it, but I don't think it is. So apologise for that. Mick, was there any news about World Series sprint cars over the weekend? Nothing's come through. So, Mick, at this stage, no news is good news, maybe. So hopefully that can the news will be released shortly. So in regards to more driver signings. So at the moment, World Series sprint cars is got Lockie McHugh, so it's a young Queensland sprint car driver. We've got Jai O'Keefe, another youngster from out of Victoria. So certainly some young ones. There's guys like not officially confirmed, but you've got Carson Macedo, the American. He'll be running for the Dyson Motorsport team. You've got David Murcott, a former World Series champion himself. He's running for the Victory Lane race team. So that's Matt Easton. So none of that has been officially released by World Series, so we'll wait and see. So, it's really exciting, and hopefully, news can come through. So we've got Skeen, Pico, Glenn Mitchell. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Darren McCarthy, thoughts on Tim Reedy's chances of going back-to-back in AMCA national titles? Plugger, to answer your question, yep, I reckon that's more than possible. So hopefully, Timmy can do that if anyone's proven in the past how tough it is. So the AMCA national class, but there's no reason why Timmy can't go back. But he's going to have guys like Jamie Collins that's going to be nipping at his heels. He's ran second twice in the Australian title for AMCA nationals, so hopefully he'll be looking to go one better. And it'll be good to see him. We've had Matt Hardy, he'll obviously want it back, and a few other guys that are really going to step it up. So it's really exciting, especially being a red line raceway. So for next season's title, so Timmy, that's going to be interesting to see how he goes there. It's a good track. They had the Victorian title there last season, and Jamie Collins ended up picking up the win. So he would go in one as the favourite. Tim Reedy's obviously not going to do as many meetings as leading up to the event, so he might be a bit underdone, but Jamie will certainly have laps under his belt. But when it comes to the coming out there, and Timmy knows what he's doing, and so there's no reason why he can't go out there and successfully defend the titles. So I've got Ben Griffin here. Sad news, former V8 modified sprint car driver Steve Wright is going through a tough time at the moment. Family has set GoFund, but hopefully for 10K, check out the new summer. We donated $500 at last night. But it's sad to see. I've had a lot to do with Steve Wright over the years. He's based in Lismore. He used to work for the Steve Robinson, so that was at Southside Agencies. Steve was one of my early clients at Red Line Media, so I've had a bit to do with him. So he raced V8 modifieds, and then later ran the sprint car. So it's tough to see he's going through a tough time, and I'll no doubt, I'll go to that GoFundMe page and pledge my support, because Steve's a great bloke, and it's sad to see things like this happen. But hopefully the Sport of Speedo remembers him and can push on through. All right, so just to answer the questions, Jamie Badgerton, who's going to drive him for the Roos Brothers Motorsport years? Jamie, that's an interesting question. As you probably know, and a lot of people know, Brad Sweet's not going to be running this year because his wife's expecting their first child, so they're going to, or his partner, sorry, not his wife. So not sure, but leave that with me, Jamie, and I'll see if they're going to be running at all. Brad Sweet's been running them for many years, and before that, like Josh Roos got in there and raced the car himself. So be interesting to see, but leave that with me and I'll see. But I'm sure when the announcement, if they're going to have a driver, then that'll be known then. All right, so we're going down here. So thanks once again. Facebook's now letting me know who's joining in and watching during the footage. So but please let the go. We've got 38 views here, but keep the questions rolling through. Thanks, Mitchell G, for tuning in. So so he's and good luck this Saturday night, Mitch. So he's running for the Titan team in the 410 sprint cars. So good luck, Mitch, and hopefully you have a strong season. I've got a question here from Harley Parr. What direction do you see sprint cars going? Is the way of series where you have a fair few great series running Australia-wide and getting great car numbers at any track or series? Is it the way where you have a fair? I think, Harley, and like you've just got to see, for example, World Series has gone through a bit of a lull in recent seasons, and to actually see it pick up where there's feedback, hopefully there'll be some more announcements shortly. But World Series looks to be going well, and this is coming up to its 31st season now, pardon me. So World Series needs to be a part of the speedway fabric here in Australia. There's no two ways about it. So, it's had its highs and its lows, but hopefully it's going to be on the way up. There's a lot of support, so that's good. The USC, the Ultimate Sprint Car Championship, obviously that's recently come through in recent seasons. That threw a spanner in the works, but that seems to be going well where they're running championships around certain tracks. But I think the only state that is really struggling is Western Australia. And they're going through a tough time there with numbers. Hopefully they can pick up, but you've just got to look at the amount of Western Australian teams, 410 sprint car teams that are actually coming over and running on the East Coast. It's alarming. So hopefully they can pick up, but it's pretty tough over there for them. But the sport needs to be. It's got a rich history there for sprint cars in Western Australia. You've got Ron Cricky, Bubba Gallo, all those names. You've got Jerry Mialos, you've got Ryan Farrell. So all these stars that have come through and are still racing, or some of them are still racing at the moment. So to have them struggling is disappointing, but hopefully it can pick up. But in terms of sprint cars I think it's going fairly well. Remember, we've only got, I think, 24 million people here in Australia, so per capita. We're a large suburban country, a lot of space, and it's very hard to get around. So in terms of the distance, Western Australia's a long way, obviously, from everywhere else. Darwin, Northern Territory is that's a long way too. But if you have a good event, as the Chariots of Thunder proved, if you time it well, up in Darwin where they had the Chariots of Thunder, you had James McFadden, David Murcott, you had all these guys up there. So it proves if you time it right, obviously with Darwin having the luxury of no one else racing other than North Queensland, that enables them to go up there and do it. But with Western Australia, I think it needs a major overhaul. And they're trying, but something's not going right because you see the influx of people that are going over there and the numbers that are dwindling, and certain drivers that did run 410s are now focusing on 360s. So, so hopefully that sorts it out, and this season will be a big, telling factor. So, we've got that. All right, so just everyone is. Thanks once again for everyone for tuning in. I see Matt O'Shaughnessy, Brett Williams, Sydney-based photographer. We've got Brett Island, speed car and wingless racer. Clinton Hansey, he's out of Mod Light. Shane Spinks, he's a car owner. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. But throw your questions my way and I'll do my best to answer them. So it can be anything Speedway related. That's what I'm here for. So I've just been going for, just under 20 minutes now. So we've had a lot of engagement so far. But throw your questions, ask for my opinions. Just also want to so welcome on board. Over the past week, we've had a number of interns that are starting. So people that are at university and needing experience. And I know what it's like when you're first starting and you're wanting to get an opportunity, but it's not there. But I got one 16 years ago from Peter White's Speedo World, where they gave me my start and I was able to get published. So forever I'm grateful for Peter White's involvement. But fast forward, 16 years, and here we are where I'm able to provide opportunities for aspiring young journalists. So we've got Madeline Wallace. She's originally from Mareeba in North Queensland, but she's living in Brisbane in Queensland, further down south, where she's studying at university in journalism and also science. So she's doing a double degree, so go her. And she approached me recently just wanting an opportunity to write some articles to get published in a large media platform, which Totally Speedway provides. And it was awesome. And so she's going to be doing some stories, just some general stories, just getting experience and learning from our team. So that's cool. And also another one, we've got one that actually comes into the office with me. Madeline will be doing hers remotely. So from up in Brisbane in Queensland, where we've got Beck Goulet. She's a Sydney-based person that wants to come in and just learn about the media, social media, and learn about the whole media agency that we've got here at Redline Media. So she'll be joining the team. At least, like, with Madeline, she'll be submitting articles where Beck Goulet will be coming in, once a week into the office, and learning and helping the team. So we've only got a small team, but it's great from a personal point of view to be able to provide opportunities for the younger ones, because we need that. And I'm at the age of 34 now, so no spring chicken, but encouraging the younger ones to come through. And I think this is something the whole sport needs to do as a whole. We've got all these young drivers coming through and encouraging them, and that's all well and good. But what about behind the scenes? What about officials? What about future track promoters? What about future track curators? What about journalists, photographers? We need all this, because this sport can't survive, when people retire without the support. So so there's some food for thought. So all right, so we've got Harley Parr here. Thanks, mate. Great insight. Thank you also for your support from my brother Liam. No worries, Harley. It's shattering to see what Liam's going through, but it's great to have, obviously, a strong family. And we've got this whole big family of Speedway here in Australia that definitely, I've got you guys back, because your whole family's contributed a lot to this sport. And when one of our men are down, or one of our people are down, we all get behind them regardless. So, so good luck, Liam. Always following your dad's post, Harley, too. So it's great to get updates. So hopefully, things are looking up. So it's good to have him home. So that's a big positive. I've got a question here from Nick Cockerell. He's a Victorian-based modified sedan racer. Nick, thanks once again for tuning in. You're really regular, so it's much appreciated. So, and good luck for this season. I know I say it a lot, but good luck for that. Just reading out your question here. For how big the sport is getting with more and more TV opportunities and live videos worldwide, do you think track presentation facilities are where it should be, or do we need to improve? Nick, to answer your question there, I think, track facilities and presentation could be picked up. There's you've got like the Barry Wardrono tracks that have really picked up the game. So you've got Murray Bridge, Murray Bridge in South Australia. You've got Toowoomba's High Tech Oils Speedway in Queensland. You've got Sydney's Valvoline Raceway here in New South Wales. So I think there are some tracks, and you've got those aforementioned tracks with Barry Wardrono. You've got Premier Speedway in Warrnambool in Victoria. That's an awesome facility. But there's a lot of other tracks that leave a bit to be desired. I understand the sport's struggling and funds might not be there, but in terms of presentation, we need to pick up the game, because for example, look at all these cars and the high quality of presentation of a lot of the cars. So why isn't the rest of the sport following? The drivers are improving, they're getting more technology, the cars are looking better, more money is being spent, but you go to some tracks and they're a joke, to be honest. And there is tracks that you couldn't take a sponsor to because you're embarrassed. And that's the long and the short of it. I don't care, you can swear to me and you're blue in the face, but if you're going to a track that is not well presented or not even remote effort gone into it, it just makes this sport, the stereotype, it just strengthens that of we're just a bunch of bogans and we don't really care. Well, if we're presenting tracks at not a high standard, track conditions as well. I know people try, and I know a lot of clubs are doing their best, but that's where we need more volunteers to help, especially with club run tracks. There's only so many hands make light work, but we cannot be having these thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of machinery taking to these dumps, because in all honesty, many of them are dumps. And I'm not going to point the finger because that's not what it's for, but people know who I'm talking about. Like when I say a dump, they can point the finger. And I understand some tracks are on, and then their land, they're fighting for that, whether they're going to be there. But we need to, this sport is lifting its game from a competitive point of view, but behind the scenes we need to, and that's where Barry Wardrono coming in to this sport and actually really lifting the game and showing everyone, okay, this is the level that we need to be at. This is where you could be. But, we've got to do that. And that's going to encourage more sponsors. And so, I know it's easier said than done, but actually having sponsors, having affiliated with a nice track, even local sponsors, you'll get supported by more drivers. If there's more of an effort put in by the track, You look at places like Warrnambool's Premier Speed. Everyone's jumping over each other to get there, and they want to be race, even if it's just once a season. Sydney's Valvoline Raceway, there's drivers that dream of going there, and that because it's got the prestige, and you've got the bar, you've got the facilities, you know. And I understand there's a lot of club-run tracks, but we still need to make that effort, because I don't think it's fair that competitors and this sport is raising the bar from a competitor and machinery point of view, but everything else is lagging behind. I know people are trying. We need to work harder. We need to lift the game, whether it's, because we need to have it looking better, and as that comes to, TV and live videos, well, there's more and more footage of tracks now than ever before. There's more access to people. Everyone, like as I said this afternoon on the phone while I was talking to someone in the industry, and they were saying, as I said, everyone's a media outlet. Everyone's got Facebook. Everyone's got Instagram, and Twitter, LinkedIn, even Snapchat. So there's all these media platforms that we didn't have before. We used to just have TV, newspaper, and magazines and radio. But now the gatekeeper's changed, and now everyone's a media outlet. So we need to, this sport needs to lift its game, because we're getting more and more access to tracks, through social media. So, so that's something, that needs to be done, and the tracks need to, if they want to survive, they need to, go with that. I've got another question here. Paul Oakey. Where do you think super sedans are heading in Western Australia and Australia-wide? Paul, I think, as we've proven here, sorry, I'm just moving to get that light out of the way, so we've got that. That's better. Super sedans and late models are coexisting for the meantime, but as more and more people are seeing the more and more opportunities of being affiliated with late models and the opportunity to go overseas, you just look at the number of the country's best super sedan drivers are both got late models. You've got Ryan Alexander, super sedans, late models, Darren Kane, super sedans, late models, Callum Harper, super sedans and late models, and he's created history earlier this year where he was the national title holder for both late models and super sedans at the one time. So, so I think eventually late models are going to reign. I think I'm just throwing it out there. Super sedans, they've got their place and they've got their history, but I think in time, and late models will take over, because simply due to numbers. So, and we just have to look at in certain states with super sedans, they're struggling for numbers because the cost to affiliate. A lot of them are buying late models, and so in regards to that, so I think supers will be around for a while yet, but in terms of they're going to coexist with late models, but I think late models are going to take over, just like how we had 372s with the sprint cars back in the early 2000s and now 410s. No one would ever think of, a 372 sprint car engine is like a dinosaur now, but it was only less than 15 years ago that where 372s reigned supreme, and that's all we had here in Australia, with a mixture obviously of 360s came in too. So so Paul, hopefully that answers your question. I said that you're a super sedan guy, so hopefully good luck for the season ahead. So I've got a question here from Damo Grauer. Sorry, Damo, I hope that Grauer, I think that's how you pronounce your surname. Your question here, modified sedans, Kings Royal at Kingaroy, how does it compare to big meetings around the country, super sedans and open wheelers? Damo, I can speak from first experience about the Kings Royal. I was up there 2015. I went to the Kings Royal. That was, I think it was won by Gavin Fletcher won it that year. So I think it's a fantastic event, and modified sedans in general, they're growing at a rate of knots. The racing they're putting on is fantastic, and the Kings Royal really complements the class. Like, Queensland is the hub for modified sedans, and to have a big event at a place, the home of modified sedans in Queensland, Kingaroy Speedway, so the peanut capital, that's really awesome. So so with that, so I think I've been to big meetings like Australian titles for sprint cars, the Grand Annual Classic for sprint cars, Knoxville National. I think for what it is, the camaraderie amongst the competitors, and just everyone. I think everyone should get to it if they're a sedan fan, and if you want to see some racing and just the excitement for the finals. So it's kind of like an Australian title. When I was there, when Gavin Fletcher won in 2015, it was really exciting, and it was like, oh, okay, like, it felt like an Australian title because of the pressure and the large numbers. So I love the Kings Royal, and and it's a great thing that the King Roy Speedway committee have introduced and really put King Roy Speedway on the map. So so we've got here Adrian Lawrence. Highly recommend for anyone if they're looking for sponsors to contact Daniel. Does a fantastic job. Thanks, Adrian. Recently, just to let people know, I also done one for Andrew Firth, who's asked the next question is about to put together marketing proposals to help drivers get sponsors. Adrian or AJ Lawrence, as he goes under his race now, he's the current Victorian Junior Stand Saloon champion, and he also does saloon cars on the tar. So we put Adrian's dad, Darren, contacted us, and we done a marketing proposal put together for him to help him attract sponsors. So if anyone is interested in doing that, I know we're on the eve of the season, but if anyone is there looking at marketing proposals, then be sure to get in contact with us through Red Line Media or Totally Speedway. You can drop us a line. So that'd be support. Really enjoy putting them together and really loving hearing the success stories of people that have been able to get sponsored. I've had guys that contact me go, I just got a major sponsor. Thank you so much for playing a part in that. And I was like, oh, okay, I put it together, but those guys did the work. Those done the approach, they did all that. So I'm just a cog in the wheel. So thanks, Adrian, for your support and your plug. So Andrew Firth, so he's a current V8 modified racer. He's based out of Grafton in northern New South Wales. His question here: do you think an Australian title race to decide the Aussie number one is the best, or a series to earn points and most points becomes champion? Andrew, to answer your question, I think that depends on what class it is. If a number is, like it's with V8 modifieds, I think it works well with the 5-star series, even though there is a national title, an Australian title by a standalone. But I think a point system does, and the cream rises to the top. You just have to look at Kevin Britton and what he's done. But like he's consistently been the best driver of the last 2 to 3 seasons, and for him to, he was the 5-star Dirt Series team. I think that's great, and it works well for classes that might not be as big in terms of numbers. V8 modifieds are strong in their pockets, but as a national, like the sprint cars and late models and super sedans and in street stocks and all those sort of things, much bigger scope of drivers. So I think the 5-star series works, and I think that's going to encourage people to travel more as opposed to just putting it all on as the national champion. But from a personal point of view, which is obviously what people are asking, is the fact I love the Australian title on just that one event where everything has to go together. Because over a series, you might have just simply bad luck, but the Australian title, so I think the 5-star consistency rewards it, but an Australian title, just that whole feel of it, I don't know over a whole series, whether that be 5 rounds or that, I don't feel that you'd get that intensity. It'd be kind of like a labour just trugging around, where the Australian Championship, everyone goes there and goes, okay, doesn't matter what I've done in that season, you can turn your season around. It's like the grand final, I've got the rugby league and the AFL grand finals coming up. And the fact that you've got to fight to get there, but with the Australian title, it's like a grand final for everyone. And if you feel good enough on the night, you can come away as the Australian champion for the next 12 months. So, I can see it from that point of view, but then I can see the series points working as well. But for me personally, an Australian title standalone is great. But I think for V8, I think a 5-star series works, but nothing beats the emotion of a standalone Australian title. So, Andrew, hopefully that's answers your question the best you can. So thanks for everyone for continuing tuning in. We've got sprint car driver Toby Balboa. And Toby, hope you're getting well, mate. You've obviously this season hopefully come back in the middle of the season, obviously with eye surgery that's going on. So hopefully, mate, you can get better soon and get back out there. So it sucks, but this will make you stronger. And the good thing, Toby, you've got time on your side. So although you're going to miss half of this season, hopefully not anymore, but you can yeah, come back bigger and better, mate, and you'll have your full eyesight and everything will be corrected. So, yeah, so we've got Matt Hardy, the current, the former Australian AMCA national champion, so he's the current Queensland and New South Wales champion. So we've got Nathan Disney, late model racer, Jamie McHugh. Thanks, Jamie, for coming in. He's a former Super Sedan Australian champion, and obviously the dad of Lockie McHugh, the young sprinter. So we've got current WA modified sedan champion, Australian number 6, Clint Knox from the modified sedans. We've got David Clarkson from Clarko's Performance, one of Totally Speedway's valued sponsors. Thanks, Clarko, and everyone that needs any parts or any machine work. Clarko's your man. So Clarko's Performance, you can like them on Facebook or go to their website, clarkosperformance.com. Sound like a running advertisement there. So Adam King, the former Australian international champion. Can everyone hear me okay? Clarko, David Clarkson saying no sound at this end. Maybe turn up your sound, Clarko, that might help. Greg Stevenson, Canberra-based modified sedan racer, he's saying okay here. So Greg Stevenson, and go the Raiders, mate. So just answering more questions. Ben Griffin's got here. Speaking of V8 Modifieds, this season kicks off at Grafton on the 30th of this month for the Spring Valley Cup. So yeah, V8 Modifieds really strong in Queensland and in the northern New South Wales in Grafton and Lismore. With that, we've got Stacey Galliford. So she's Sydney-based sprint car driver. So we've got Brent Hall, V8 Modified racer. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. We've just got just under half an hour, so keep your questions rolling in. Hopefully the sound, everyone can hear me. But it's really exciting, as I've said the last couple of weeks. We're really getting close to the start of the season. So, this is where everyone's in a mad rush to get parts, get signed, written, get everything ready. And yeah, it's really exciting time for everyone, and everyone's talking about Speedway in this time of the year. I really love it. So hopefully it's a great season it's going to be, and hopefully the weather gods smile down on us. So yeah, so here's to hoping. So here in Sydney today we had 31 degrees. So I think it's just over 31 degrees. So it was certainly hot, and yeah, hopefully that we can have some good weather from when the Speedway starts. Which, yeah, here in Sydney, Sydney's Valvoline Raceway kicks off on September 30, so that's in a couple of weeks' time. So, yeah. All right, so with that, so we've got a lot of people logged in, so thanks for that. But for any questions, I'll just check my phone to see if any have come through. Just bear with me. So we've got, there with that. Okay, so I've got that, but yeah, so no, nothing's come through on the personal Facebook. Yeah, Jaden Akino, so thanks for that. So yeah, so we've got that. So we've got just over 20 minutes, but one of the biggest events that I'm looking forward to this year, or the events. So you've got the Australian Sprint Car Title. We always look forward to that. The Grand Annual Classic, another. Yeah, great event is anticipated, and there'll be 100+ cars there, no doubt. Sorry, just trying to get rid of this reflection here. I move around heaps with that. But also looking forward to the national titles for street stocks and modified sedans. The Australian Super Sedan national title, that will be at Sydney's Valvoline Raceway, so that's going to be pretty awesome. We're going to have the Australian AMCA national title. It's going to be at Ballarat's Red Line Raceway in Victoria. That's certainly going to be a cracker. But yeah, we've got so many events. We've got the King's Royal, which was speaking from modified sedans. That's like, apart from the Australian title, that's probably the biggest event for modified sedans in the country. So we've got that. So that's going to be exciting. So we've got Brendan Wakeman. Brendan Wakeman, he's a street stocker racer. So he's he's New South Wales based, and he just released his car. He's got really nice looking cards, Cold Trickle, Days of Thunder, enough said. So yeah, it looks really cool, and good luck, Brendan, for this coming season. You got the Australian title there this season for the RSA National Street Stock title. So yeah, good luck for that, and good luck for this season. So yeah, with that. So we've got just over 20 minutes. So yeah, thanks everyone once again. I know I say this a lot and get repetitive, but thanks everyone for tuning in and just making this possible. What we're doing coming forward. We're going to be doing more of the conversations. We done our first one last week with Gavin Skeen, one of Australia's leading speedway photographers. So he's going to be doing. So that was really well received, and yeah, Gavin thanked me recently for it and was really happy with it. So yeah, we were really happy too. So he really created a lot of insights, and yeah, hopefully it was great viewing because I enjoyed doing it. But we're going to be doing more drivers, more people within the industry. But it'd be great if you just want to make some comments here and just let us know who you would like to have on board as the next conversations with Totally Speedway's conversations with Daniel Powell. So, throw through the questions. Just going here, just scrolling down to see if there's any more questions. Yep, so we've got a few more here. Neil Fraser, will the V8 wingless division take off? Neil, I've said, yeah, I'm not sure whether that will happen. I've said that. I think I said this before the other week. I think numbers will be, the deciding factor. If they get enough support, then of course V8 wingless sprints are gonna take off. Just trying to get rid of this. There we go. Sorry, I don't know. Yeah, it's just so trying to get rid of that light in the background. So yeah, I think, Neil, to answer your question, the V8 wingless sprints, that will be decided on whether they get the support from the competitors. So who knows what's going to happen. The track support. I recently saw a post from Tim Saville, a copy of the letter that won the tracks in Western Australia. So that's the Northern Speedway. So that's just an hour or so north of Perth. Or south of Perth, sorry. East of Perth. So that was, with that. So they're providing the Speedway Australia insurance that is available now at the Northern Speedway tracks. So, yeah, we'll be interested to see what happens there. V8 wingless sprints are really getting pushed there. So, yeah, it's early days. You've got some on the West Coast, you've got some on the East Coast here in Victoria, and they recently had a practice session in Victoria. So, so be interested. The numbers, we'll see. If they get the support, then, yeah, they'll take off because you'll have the competitors. So, yeah, with that. All right, so Neil, hopefully that answers your question. Chris Wilkins, another question. Why are legend cars so strong in New South Wales, seem to be struggling to go elsewhere? Chris, simple answer there. Legend cars were brought in by Brett Morris about 6-7 years ago, and they were launched to be run just at Sydney's Valvoline Raceway. And once John Dennehy came and took it off, he took it over, I think, 4 or 5 years ago from Brett. He's been trying to grow it. So originally, legend cars were just pretty much going to be running at Sydney's Valvoline Raceway as under Brett Morris's ownership. But then when John Dennehy purchased the class, he was then able to take it across the country. So, it's struggled elsewhere. And, yeah, you see like Western Australia, Queensland's got a few cars. Victoria's got a couple of cars. Not sure about the other states. But, simply because they were launched there and they've got a good following and they run regularly at Sydney's Valvoline Raceway, who would, as a speedway competitor, they want to do that. They want to race there, and this is an opportunity to do it at a cost-effective level. So later this month, we've got the legend cars. A number of competitors, so Glenn Mitchell, Scott Keane, and current Australian champion. What's his name? Sorry, forgot that. Glenn Arnold. Sorry, I just had a memory blank. Damn live footage. I can't steer that, so sorry about that. Glenn Arnold, the current Australian champion. So they're going over to run in the NX Nationals. So that's going to be running North Dakota over in the US. So they're going to be running, and also Hayden Pascoe is going to be another fellow Australian. He's going to be racing as well. So we're going to have 4 Australian drivers flying the flag for us over at the NX Nationals. So that's awesome, and that's a great thing that Legend Cars has provided, creating that bond between the America and Australia. So that's really good. All right, so we've got a few more questions here. Brendan Wakeman, cheers, Daniel. Love your work and love Totally Speedway. Thanks, Brendan, for your support. Greg Stevenson, any more news? What series name's been released? Nothing's been released. They did have their AGM over the weekend, Greg, so that will be, hopefully news will come out soon. So, with that. Chris Wilkinson, sorry, you just to grow, I meant. Okay, not to go. Okay, all right. So I think, Chris, to just elaborate a bit more, just to, I think numbers. The more numbers, they need to get exposure, and, getting drivers to have guest drives in it is a possibility, but it makes it tough when there's been a letter that's come out from the SSA saying if drivers double between the both, it can jeopardise their licence. So, I don't think too many drivers, current sprint car drivers, are going to be doing that to jeopardise running their 410 sprint cars. So, so I think, getting former drivers in there. So, we've got, all right, Nick Cockerell, another question here. Who do you think of the new era of junior sedan? What do you think of the new era of junior sedans with the four drive becoming more dominant? Will it make the transition harder into senior classes? Nick, that could be an issue, but you just look at guys that run the charades and run it in the past, Charlie Brown, Cody Morosky, they all run Kristen Brown, they all ran the charades, so, and they've adapted to their respective classes. So, and drivers, if you're Nick, as you probably know, obviously you ran later on earlier, I think that's in Sunny, I think you ran when you won the Australian title at Alice Springs in 2012. That was a rear wheel drive, but the more modern cars, I think they will adapt. If they're a good driver, they will adapt. And, if you don't adapt, you just make excuses sort of thing. So, so that, Nick, hopefully that answers your question. Good drivers will adapt. And so I think, drivers have to. Junior sedans will teach you racecraft, racing against other cars in a competitive environment. That's what it teaches. You can attest to, Nick, being a former Australian champion in the junior sedans. So I think make it harder, but it's harder to come from juniors to seniors as it is. So this will just be another element. But if the good drivers will shine. But hopefully we need to encourage more drivers, and that's why National four-cylinder sedans was created, to create that gap between going from junior sedans into four-cylinder sedans. But the uptake with four-cylinder sedan hasn't been as big as I'd hoped for, and it's struggled to the point where it can't have enough, even 4 states registered to even hold a national title, even though they tried and that was cancelled this year, or last season's national titles. So we need to do something to encourage more drivers, because I know it's a cliche, but kids are the future. So, with that. So with the junior sedan. So I've got another question or a comment here from Andrew Firth. Recently, Andrew Firth had red light. Thanks, Andrew. To up a marketing sponsorship proposal and also some posters and stuff on the go. What you get is awesome and helps small teams get sponsors and sponsor dollars. I strongly suggest anyone need a hand. I'll send you the check in the mail too, Andrew. So thanks for that. I really appreciate your support, mate, and leaving that comment. So very humbling, but it makes what we do. I've got a small team, but we work really hard to do what we do, and having satisfied customers, so is really appreciated. So. And was in this area, talk to Daniel. Thanks. Okay, so got more questions. Marcus Rumsey, didn't Pascoe get banned? Hayden Pascoe, he got banned from running for 12 months in Australia. So that was, he can't hold a license for an legend cars. He can run other classes, but he can't run that. But he can still race overseas, because that's a different ruling. So he can't register for 12 months here in Australia. So, but he can race overseas. So got that. All right, so we've got here Noddy Redcliffe. Thanks for tuning in, Noddy, and good luck for this season in the 410 sprint cars. Your car looks a treat, and it's done well with young Joel Berkeley from Down Under Graphics. He's done some awesome jobs, and that's a kid really having a crack. He's doing a lot of work designing cars, doing designs and that, so it's really awesome to see that the sport's supporting him, and having a crack. He's just a young kid. I think he's still in high school. He's only 17, so he's doing some awesome work, and that's really lifting the game for this sport. We just look at You've even got Jared Ash from Ash Media, another youngster. It's really exciting to have these young guys come in. He does a lot of the videos and the Speedway Australia live videos, so that's really awesome with that. And yeah, he's doing car reps as well. So yeah, it's really cool to see all these designers come through, and the cars are going to look awesome. It's just raising the bar for the sport. And as I say, we need to actually have this, need to be raising the bar across all levels. The cars are getting more competitive and more high tech now. The presentation is awesome, but we just need a lot of other areas that are lagging behind. So yeah, but I've already spoken about that. All right, so we've got Neil Fraser. Why was Pascoe actually banned? Nothing. To answer with Hayden Pascoe from the Legend Cars, for people that might not know, it's not Matt Pascoe, it's Hayden Pascoe. So he runs Legend Cars here in New South Wales. So he's been overseas and racing in America. Yeah, and so he's been reprimanded. Not sure, nothing's been made public in regards to Hayden Pascoe, but he's got 12 months. So I think in due time there will be a statement coming out in regards to why. So yeah, it's a shame, but that's just the way things go. Robert Jordan's got a question here. Any news on Ryan Farrell returning from suspension? Robert, not too sure about that one. Ryan is a phenomenal talent, and he is up there with one of the best in the country on any given on his night, sort of thing. He can beat anyone, sort of thing. So yeah, not sure. It's gone on quiet with Farrell. I don't would like to put my house on him returning, but yeah, I'm not sure, because originally I think he got 12 months, so that'll be up by now. So I'm not sure what he's doing. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully news will come out. Greg Stevenson's written here. Looks like Western Australia will be light on for sprint cars. On sprint cars. Yes, Greg, I said that earlier in the piece. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but they're really struggling at the moment. So yeah, so hopefully that they turn things around. I just want to thank some people who joined in. We're current Australian number 2. Jamie Collins, he's the current Victorian and South Australian champion, also in McInnes. We've got Jeff Jensen, who runs Mod Whites. We've got Johnny Ross Green, who crews for the Stevenson family. We've got Darren Holston, who runs micro sprints up in Queensland. So yeah, so we've got just under 8 minutes to go. So thanks everyone for tuning in. But if you've got any questions, Matt Boyd, so he's running a V8 wingless sprints. So Matt, hopefully everything's good over in WA, and yeah, good luck for the season ahead for you. So yeah, so we've got about 7 minutes now, so please get any further questions, or we'll have to wait till next week. But yeah, it's been really enjoyable, and yes, next week we're going to be doing the conversations with Daniel Powell. So we'll probably do that every couple of weeks. It's just a lot of workload and a lot of time, a lot of working back late, like what I'm doing with this video now. So yeah, so we're bringing that back, but yeah, it's going to be awesome now to have the season now starting from this Saturday night. Yeah, with that, Matt Lee, do you enjoy Family Guy? Yes, Matt, I love it. That's one of my school friends, so we grew up together. So you can't get these people out of this forum and ask it, but yeah, giggity. So yeah, so with that, so we just got over 5 minutes now. So yeah, get your chance. Shane Spinks, good job once again. Thanks, Shane, for tuning in. We've got Peter Addard. So thanks, Pete, for joining and tuning in for 5 minutes. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed your website, supremepoultry.net. So we just finished that through Redline Media. And Pete, thanks for your support, and good luck for Jesse for this season in the 410 Sprint Cars. You guys are going to be doing a lot of racing. So yeah, with that. Yeah, so we've got just over 5 minutes. We've got Wayne Brady. Thanks, Wayne, for tuning in. We've got Madeline Wallace, who I was chatting before. So she's Totally Speedway's newest contributor and one of the youngsters. So that's really awesome to have her on board, and from a great Speedway family. And it's going to be really awesome to see what she can come up with, and hopefully you guys can enjoy it and support it. And that's what we need to do. We need to support these youngsters. We're supporting all these young drivers, but we need to support, like, through giving them encouragement, and like, people need encouragement to push on and push forward. And this sport of Speedway has a lot of naysayers and a lot of people that want to knock you down, but that's just generally in life. So if we can get behind these youngsters, whether it be an official or a journal or an aspiring journalist like Madeline, to come on board, then that's great. So please, do your best to give feedback, encouragement, and share it so we can give us some more exposure. So we've got a question from here. Robert Jordan, does Facebook only give you 60 minutes max, or do you set a time limit? Just curious. Robert, thanks for your continued audience. Yeah, but I keep it for an hour. I could, when I initially launched this from like answering questions on the actual just replying to questions to actually doing it via Facebook Live. I think the first one I did for 2 hours, and that was just too much. It was a lot of work, a lot of strain. But yeah, I spent it for an hour because I don't want to bore people like going for 2 hours. It's bad enough 1 hour. So 1 hour is enough to answer people's questions. I started at 7:30, so then everyone from Western Australia can get back from work, and there's no struggles with time differences, so everyone can tune in at a reasonable hour. So yeah, Robert. So we set it to just the 1 hour sort of thing. That's enough of me and my ugly mug at the front. So Brendan Wakeman got here. Loving the Speedway memes. Keep them up. Yeah, Brendan, we do love sharing them. They're really popular and they give us a lot of reach for Totally Speedway. Some are borderline and probably not. I had a comment from someone or a private message the other day saying, it's a bit tacky sort of thing. But we give the sport, but then we also mix it up too. We can't just be all the good feel-good stories. Some of the memes are, funny, but you've got to understand a lot of these ones are created or put together by a female. So there might be ones that are sexist, but my staff member, Ali Stoyle, who does a fabulous job, and she puts these together. So it's not just me, it's not me being sexist, like she sees the funny side, she understands the beauty of memes. It's tongue-in-cheek, it's not anything to be derogatory, it's not sexist or racist or anything like that. So so when a lot of these ones that are like relatable to men are actually created by Ali, who's a female. So so we've got both sides of it, and I'm always asking her, saying the actual so she's putting the memes together. So we've got Josh Roos. So Josh, maybe you can tune us in on what's happening. We can do this live. Josh Roos. So he's one of the part team owner for the Roos Motorsport team. Josh, if you could comment, that'd be awesome. Let us know who's going to be driving, if anyone at all, so we can have an exclusive here and such. So Josh, that'd be awesome if you could share that. We've got a couple more minutes. Ben Griffin here, stay to 1 hour because Doctor starts at 8:30. Fair enough, Ben. I'll stay just now, just for you. So we've got here Neil Fraser. Good job as always. Thanks, Neil. Appreciate you tuning in. It's much appreciated. So, Madeline Wallace, she's writing here. Thanks for the kind words, Daniel. Question from me. Any underdogs to be keeping an eye on for this season in any class? Madeline, that could be one of your first tasks in terms of putting together a story. So, I'll chat to you about that, but that'll be really cool. Maybe drivers to watch out. We could do maybe a couple of drivers from each class to look out for. That could be a story that you could put together. So, we'll talk about that. So, we'll talk about that later. We've got Robert Jordan here. Do you set up the Foxtel like you to record the block on Wednesdays? No, I don't do that. I don't watch the block. Sorry, Robert. So, I don't. With that. Matt Boyd. Thanks for the mention, mate. Such much appreciated. Keep up the good. Thanks, Matt. And thanks for tuning in. So we've got that. Not sure. So we've got Josh here. So hopefully we can have this out. Mitchell Biner. He's joined in. So thanks, Mitch, for tuning in. We'll just see if we'll wait to hear from Josh if he can write back. But if not, we'll just go and then I'll chase it up during the week. But once again, thanks for everyone for tuning in. We're consistently having good views, good interaction, and every week I'm able to do this. I do it because I love it. I enjoy it, and I enjoy Facebook, and I enjoy the immediacy that everyone can watch this. It's not like a TV station where we've got to one raise money and one get coverage. So we can put it on at 7:30, Facebook Live. Everyone can do it. So, so we've Just got there. So we're out of time now, guys. We've just ticked over an hour. So thanks once again, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, be back next week. We're going to be having conversations with myself, Daniel Powell. So that'll be back next week. So we'll be doing the double shift. We'll do the Tuesday with the conversations, and then we'll back it up with the Q&A as normal this time next week. So thanks, guys, for tuning in, and yeah, have a good rest of the week, and good luck for everyone that's their season starting this Saturday night. So we know that Brisbane's Archfield Speedway kicks off, so that's going to be awesome, and yeah, it's going to bring on the racing. So all right, guys, see you next week. Thanks, bye.